Where is he?
What is that car? That car's fire.
Hey, what car is this?
There's a Firebird, son.
Damn.
It's a Firebird?
Oh, hello,
Yeah.
Crane.
I've never seen one of these.
It's technically it's a Ruiner's ZZ8 or something, but you know, Firebird.
Crane, when'd you get the glasses? I've never seen you wear those before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, it's the casual Sunday fit. You know, went to the U-Tool, picked up a few things, mowed the grass.
Awesome, you look great.
Thanks, man. How y'all doing?
We're pretty good, but we've got a dilemma, and we kind of want to dive into it if we can. So,
All right, what's the issue?
you know Jack Cortair?
Yeah.
So he's got a case coming up. Do you know if you're gonna be on it? Because we kind of want to talk about it, but if we're gonna conflict, then we should probably just buzz off, no?
Um. Jack does have a case coming up. I am aware of some of the basics of it, as I have already been the person signing the warrants and such. I mean, what would you want to ask about it? You could ask me general questions without getting into like specifics.
Okay, well, I can talk about what happened with me a little bit. So, when I got convicted of terrorism, right?
Right.
A doctor was provoking Appy Turk and was purposely trying to get him to cause violence, right? Like that was the whole case, and that was the truth, right? I'm convicted, whatever. Like I'm telling you the truth. He was doing it on purpose, and he wasn't even signed in and clocked into work before provoking and trying to get Turk to like do something gang related, right? And so what he did was he provoked Turk on Twitter, and then when Turk said he was gonna pull up, he signed in on purpose and like baited him into terrorism, right? And obviously we walked into it, we got what we deserved, sure, so be it. But Murphy's whole point of that in that case was that doctors shouldn't have this wall they can put up and be able to just bait people into getting terrorism just for fucking, just if they so please, because it can spiral into a whole big thing. And he said that because of this case, it'll surely and slowly turn into a big thing. So what do you think about that? Just the idea of someone being able to bait someone into terrorism.
So, I've put some limits on it. I mean, there was the case that your fellas had with was it Pluto and Kevin, where the officers were trying to charge them with terrorism, where there was a failed boost or something. There's a shootout that happened around the gas station here. Cops admitted that the cops scaled the medical building, were on top of the hospital, shooting over here and onto your building. And then Pluto and Kevin went to like siege the hospital roof, and the cops trying to push terrorism. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense, because if the cops are the ones shooting from the hospital roof in the first place, then they're the ones compromising the medical neutrality, not the people who come in the second place.
Right.
So I dismissed that, and I dropped those charges. So I've already put limits on it. My thing is though, when we talk about baiting, it's difficult because take this out of the hospital, right? And take this away from all that, and let's just say you and I are hanging out, right?
Okay.
And let's say Jack comes up, and I start telling Jack, man, I love cookies. I'd love to eat a cookie. Fucking cookies are delicious. And, man, I would just murder a cookie right now if I had one in front of me. Like, just talking all kinds of crazy shit.
Right.
If Jack then goes and tries to stab me or shoot me over words, uh, it's not really a defense to murder to say that he's that he was baited, right? What it does is it might transition it from first degree murder to second degree murder, right? So it becomes like heat of the moment as opposed to like a planned killing. And second degree murder has vastly less punishments.
Right.
Now, to your point, if someone were to bait terrorism, that would be pretty tough to deal with, because it's not like there's a second degree terrorism. So, if someone does that and they get convicted of it, then, you know, what I would tell you is I think that things like that, the whole baiting aspect, that might mitigate or lessen a punishment. I don't think it would be possible for that to make someone not guilty, because otherwise we'd be opening up a can of worms that says if someone says the wrong words to you, you're able to shoot them and it's legal.
Well, it's not necessarily about being legal or illegal, right? It's a case of terrorism. Terrorism is a pretty crazy thing, don't you think?
I agree.
And there's, I feel like there's a lot of circumstantial things, right? Like hospitals in the South Side, and it's surrounded by multiple gangs. Like, I feel like to put on the same limitations as the limitations were before in comparison to it being at Pillbox or let's say wherever the fuck over there, it's almost like, I don't want to say unreasonable, but I feel like there's different factors and these factors are changing and they should at least be taken to some account.
I agree, which is why I think the you know, the sentence can be mitigated, but I don't know if we can change the crime itself. And I'll go back to the Senate and I'll ask again, but I'll be honest with you, it's possible things may have changed now because look, I don't want to get too fucking far into it, but you get what I'm saying. Things have changed from the last time I asked. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Because the person I'm asking is different.
Yeah.
So it may be that, you know, the decision is different now. And it may be that, you know, I can separate hospital terrorism and terrorism into two separate charges, which is what I wanted to do like a year ago. I was told no at that time, and I was told that it's going to stay the way it is. But given that we have so many examples now of people sort of, as you said, baiting the terrorism charge in the hospital, especially when those people are doctors, you know, maybe that might make more of a consideration. I don't know. I can talk to the senators and ask them. And given that, you know, the staffing in the Senate has changed a little bit, there might be a different response. But in terms of, you know, in terms of that, I don't really know if that does anything for Jack, because do you know what ex post facto means? You ever heard that?
Say that again one more time.
Ex post facto, you ever heard that?
No.
It's just it's a fancy term that basically means that you can't go back in time and change what the laws were at the time a crime was committed. It's only you change the laws and then anything moving forward applies under that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So it's, for example, if I were to say that, you know, pants that don't go all the way down to your shoes were illegal because exposing your ankles is illegal, I couldn't make a new law and then charge you because I saw you here today wearing pants that go down to your ankles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the other way around is, if I change the hospital terrorism laws to split them, that wouldn't apply to Jack because when he committed the crime, it was still under the old law. So I'm open and willing to consider that as a proposal to the Senate, but I don't know if it would change anything for Jack.
Is it based off of when the crime was committed or when they're tried for it?
When the crime was committed.
Okay. Well, I think regardless of Jack's situation, I think personally that a change would be good regardless of Jack. Obviously, I care for Jack, but I mean, I've seen this happen to me. And now I'm seeing stuff happen to Jack. Like, I think change is good regardless of whether it can help Jack or not.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think regardless of whether the hospital part of it, I mean, at the end of the day, Jack got baited into shooting somebody in the head because they talked about eating cookies. I mean, you know, and as much as I understand that Jack is who he is and he has his, you know, proclivities and his, you know, personality quirks, at the end of the day, he made that decision, right? So it's pretty tough. Like I said, there is mitigation in sentencing because, you know, we do look at the nature of how it developed. And if the doctors and according to the witness statements, other people are there egging on Jack, I can understand there might be some way to look at it. But
Right.
Overall, I do agree with you. overall, I think the hospital terrorism thing is getting, I won't say abused, but I think that both doctors and police are far too easily inclined to lean on it as a backdrop for actions that would otherwise be looked down upon by them.
Right.
So I hear you on that. I don't disagree.
Another question I had was, do you know if he'll be? Wait, do you know how does it work with terrorism and a murder charge? Like, will he have an opportunity for bail at all, or is he just stuck?
Well, my policy is to always give everyone the benefit of the doubt and give them a chance. I would consider bail, and he might have very, very strict conditions, but you know, the worse the offense, the more strict the conditions, right? I'm open to considering bail for pretty much anyone as long as they have some kind of something they care about, right? Some kind of collateral, some kind of asset. The thing that pretty much will make it I can't give someone bail is if they have no assets, nothing to speak for, because then there's nothing stopping them. They don't care.
Right.
They violate bail, they don't give a shit because nothing, they don't lose anything except for time and, you know, their freedom, which they were probably going to lose anyway.
Right.
So it's like, for example, it's hard for me to give like Mike Block bail. Like I probably wouldn't do it. Also, we have a policy now at the DOJ. I might call it the Marty Banks rule, just for the sake of it. Or maybe the Banks Fitzpatrick rule would be more fitting, which says that we do not give multiple chances on bail.
Yes.
So,
wait, am I actually gonna be like a fucking case law thing?
I don't know if it's a case law. It's more of just an internal DOJ thing, but I made a point to tell the judges about a month and a half ago that we do not do multiple chances on bail. So if someone gets bail and they mess it up and the judge feels that they messed it up, then the person goes to jail until their trial. That's just it.
So I'm in the history books, is what you're saying.
Exactly, yeah. The
Awesome.
Marty Banks, Siobhan Fitzpatrick incident, we'll call it.
Awesome.
So we only do one chance of bail now because otherwise it just gets too messy and out of control. And there's, you know, good faith and benefit of the doubt is something I believe in, but I also believe that if someone acts against that good faith and benefit of the doubt, then, you know, they got what's coming to them.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So yeah, I'll do this. I'll talk to the senators and see what they think about splitting the terrorism charge. Maybe make the hospital one separate. And then that might alleviate things a little bit in terms of it getting baited. Because most of the things that people care about, it isn't really that they get a harsh charge and they spend a lot of time in jail. They care about the fact that it prevents them from, like, getting a pilot's license or running for public office or any of these other things. They can't expunge the charge. It's like, you know, there's a lot of issues with terrorism.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I got no problem. I'll take
Free
that under advisement. I'll talk to Senate. And as far as Jack's case, I'll look into seeing if I'm going to take that or somebody else. But either way, on large cases like that, we often discuss as a group in terms of policy making. So even if I'm not the one running the case, I will still be involved in discussing sort of how we feel about incidents like that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your
right.
time, Crane. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Y'all have a good day.
You too, sir. Did you hear him?
Fine.
Jack's never gonna be mayor.
Hey, y'all want to see something cool?
Yeah. Holy mac and cheese.
Holy mac and
Old
cheese.
fucking fart.